You've probably heard this idea before, right? That if we want more jobs, we should just, spread the existing work around. It sounds so simple, almost like a perfect fix for unemployment. But what if that whole idea is based on a big misunderstanding of how the economy actually functions? Well, today we're going to dig into that and break down these spread the work schemes and see what really happens when you put them into practice. And really, it all boils down to this one simple question. Why would you ever hire two people to do a job that one person could easily handle? It seems inefficient, it seems illogical, and yet this is the exact logic behind a surprising number of rules and even national laws. Okay, so let's dive into a really clear, real-world example to see what this looks like in action. This will make the whole concept snap into focus. So picture this. You've got a leaky shower. Annoying, but simple enough. You do the logical thing and call a plumber. So far, so good. The plumber shows up, takes one look, and knows exactly what to do. Just pop off a single tile, get to the pipe behind it, fix the leak, and stick the tile back on. Should be a quick job, right? But then you hit a snag. The plumber, the person standing right there ready to work, tells you they can't actually touch the tile. Why? Because according to some rule, that is a completely separate job reserved only for a certified tile setter. So now, to fix one tiny leak, you, the homeowner, have to find, schedule, and pay two different people. The cost has just doubled, the hassle has gone way up, and a simple job has been artificially split in two. Now, that might sound absolutely bizarre, but there's a reason for it. This kind of practice comes from a very specific and deeply held belief about work itself. Our source material calls it the fixed work fallacy. And here it is. This is the core idea we're tackling today. It's the belief that work is like a finite pie. There's only so much to go around, so if one person works too efficiently, they're taking a bigger slice, leaving less for everyone else. The only way to create more jobs, then, is to slice that same pie into smaller and smaller pieces. And if you really follow that logic, you end up in a very strange place. Suddenly, being more efficient is a bad thing because it destroys jobs. And the opposite must be true too, right? Making things less efficient, like hiring a plumber and a tile setter for one job, starts to look like a good way to create them. It's completely backward. But here's the thing. This way of thinking has major hidden consequences. To really see what's going on, we have to look at the stuff that isn't so obvious. So let's go back to our homeowner who just had to pay twice as much for that plumbing repair. Okay, let's just follow the money for a second. The repair cost is doubled, right? That means the homeowner now has less cash to spend on other things. Maybe they were planning on buying a new sweater. Well, now they can't afford it. And just like that, somewhere else in the economy, a sweater knitter just lost a day's work because that demand, it just vanished. And this gets to the absolute heart of the problem. It's about what we see versus what we don't see. We can all see the extra job that was created for the tile setter. It's right there, it's obvious. But what's invisible is the job that was destroyed somewhere else, the sweater knitter's job, because that money had to come from somewhere. There was no net gain in jobs at all. So when you zoom out, what's the actual result? The total number of jobs stays exactly the same, but the homeowner is worse off, and the country as a whole is actually a little poorer. We're short one sweater. Less actual stuff, less actual wealth was created. So that was a small-scale example. But what happens when you apply this same logic to an entire country? Well, you often see it pop up in proposals to shorten the work week by law, especially during tough economic times, as a way to spread the work around and create more jobs. So our source material lays out two ways this could play out. Let's imagine we're cutting the work week from 40 hours to 30. In the first scenario, your hourly pay stays the same, which means your total weekly paycheck gets smaller. In the second scenario, your weekly pay is protected, which means your hourly rate has to go up a lot. So let's look at that first scenario. A company might have to hire more people to make up for the lost hours, sure, but the total amount of work getting done, the total production, doesn't actually change. What's really happening is that the existing workers are taking a pay cut to subsidize the wages of the newly hired people. The pie didn't get any bigger, we just sliced it differently. Okay, now for scenario 2. This is the one that sounds way better to workers, right? Work less, but get paid the same weekly amount. But here's the catch. For that to happen, your hourly wage has to jump by a whopping 33.3%. That's a massive, massive increase in the cost of labor for any business.
And you can just imagine what that does to a company's bottom line. When the price of every single hour of labor goes up by a third, the total cost to make the exact same product just skyrockets.
So what's the domino effect when costs explode like that? Well, it's not good. The companies that were just barely making it, they go out of business. The ones that survive have to find ways to cut costs, so they lay off their least productive workers. And the end result is less is produced overall, and, ironically, unemployment actually goes up, the exact opposite of what the whole plan was supposed to do.
So let's zoom out and really nail down the big idea that our source material is getting at here. It's all about understanding the crucial difference between just creating work and creating actual wealth.
Both the plumber example and the 30-hour workweek idea, they're both built on that same shaky foundation we talked about before, the fixed work fallacy, the idea that there's a limited amount of work in the world that we have to carefully ration out. But the source argues that's just not how reality works. The amount of work to be done is practically infinite. I mean, think about it. As long as humans still want things, better homes, new gadgets, cleaner energy, that new sweater, there's always more work that could be done. And that leaves us with this final, really important question to think about. Is creating work for the sake of work the same thing as creating real wealth? Forcing people to be inefficient might make it look like there are more jobs, but does it make us richer as a society? The core argument here is that true prosperity doesn't come from fighting over a small, fixed pie, but from finding new and better ways to make the whole pie bigger for everyone.